Welcome everybody to another episode of First Look, Final Word, the podcast where we take you along to see a new movie. My name's Pete.
And I'm Trevor. How are you all doing tonight?
Wow, that was high energy, Trevor. I like it. It's almost like
I had a coffee earlier.
Not like a 10 o'clock movie today.
Yeah.
It is.
What movie were you seeing this week, Pete?
So tonight's movie is Argylle.
Yeah. And I got a quick synopsis here
Trevor's got it ready.
before we start the drive.
Is this a Wikipedia?
This is IMDb again.
Okay, nice.
A reclusive author who writes espionage novels about a secret agent and global spy syndicate realizes the plot of the new book she's writing starts to mirror real-world events in real time. That sounds pretty...
There you go.
I'd watch that
done.
movie.
Yeah, well done. Good job, IMDb.
Yeah, sometimes it's bad. This time it's pretty good. All right, yeah, so this movie's Argylle, which I feel like both of us have had our eye on for some times. They've been playing the trailers constantly.
They have been really pushing the market on this one, and really good trailer, I think. The trailer does a really good job of hooking you in to the premise and showing you kind of what to expect, I think, going in.
I'm a little worried about the cat. It's the one part of the trailer I don't like. It seems to be featured very prominently.
Yeah, I think the cat's going to have a big role to play in this.
Yeah. But it seems like a typical Matthew Vaughan movie.
Yes.
I don't know how well you like him.
I am a big Vaughan fan, actually. Do you want to get into that right away?
Yeah, sure. We could do a bit of a teaser on Vaughan.
Sure, yeah. I was thinking about it today, and I think I've seen pretty much all of his movies as director. Although I'm telling a lie because I did not see the latest Kingsman. Was it The Kingsman?
The Kingsman. So
I did not see that. That's the only one I think I've not seen.
I caught up with his last two movies this week.
Oh, really?
In preparation for this. So it's a bit of a spoiler for what I've been watching lately.
Trevor puts a lot more effort into this than I do, obviously.
Well, it's just good. Well, I really liked the first Kingsman movie. I had some hesitations about it, but I liked it quite a lot. I really liked The Golden Circle.
Really?
And then I guess you don't feel the same.
No,
so I liked it a little less than the first one, but I still liked it pretty solidly overall. And then last night I watched The Kingsman, and I thought it was hot garbage.
Oh, really?
I really didn't like it.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's why I never got around to seeing that one, because, I was a huge fan of the first Kingsman movie. The Golden Circle, is that what it's called?
The sequel, yeah.
Didn't like it. I thought it lost a lot of... I mean, it's hard to recapture what you have in that first one, because that was obviously a lot of introducing the world and setting up Eggsy as a character and whatnot. But the second one, I only saw it once, and I don't remember much of it, which is probably saying something bad, but I kind of felt a bit aimless to me, I think. I remember not really enjoying it, and by the end of it, I was just like, this is just... I think he needed to rein himself back in a bit towards the end of it.
He has... he makes some choices, and he really just kind of goes crazy with those choices.
I respect him for that. I respect him for doing it, but I was a bit like, it's not working for me.
Well, the thing I like about his movies, and it might be a complaint from some other people, but I do really like the fight choreography.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's great, juxtaposed to a lot of modern fight scenes, which are very quick cutty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He has really long takes, but then he supplements it with CGI.
Yeah.
And the CGI isn't trying to be realistic. It's kind of goofy.
It's very stylized, right?
Yeah. So it's a very identifiable visual style that he has, and I'm quite into it. I liked, I like Kick-Ass.
Great movie.
I like both of those Kingsman movies. The second one a little less. I do agree with you on the aimless part. They introduce the statesmen who are the American counterparts, but the fact that they have a counterpart agency in the U.S. doesn't really fit into the plot. It's not really of consequence.
It's like he had a bunch of ideas that were kind of cool, but it didn't really gel together very well. Sort of wasn't really keeping my interest, I don't think.
And then when they did the King's Man, which goes back to
it's like it's like a prequel, right?
I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, it goes back to the founding of the Kingsmen, and there's nothing to do with the statesman whatsoever.
We'll just forget about that.
Yeah, but it's kind of it's a Kingsman meets Forrest Gump movie, basically.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
wow,
it's
I didn't realize that.
it's really cringy. Like, they meet, like, it's about the First World War, and they meet like all of like the historical players, and like,
Here's this one. Here's this one.
yeah, it's not like they're accidentally like
Right.
influencing things. Like, they're purposely doing it, but like, they go and they meet Rasputin and they meet Lenin, and then
See,
Hitler has a cameo at the end.
because this is my thing about Vaughn. I feel like he came out at the gate doing really good work, and I feel like because what he's like is even his first, even like Layer Cake, I really like.
I haven't seen Layer Cake.
Layer
think
Cake,
that's
I
my
really
one.
like.
I saw he did Stardust, which is one I saw
Stardust is an
back in the
excellent-
day. Like, it's just such a good movie.
Yeah, that might be my favorite of his, just because
Really, yeah.
it's so
It's
so-
very unique. Like,
it's
there's
very
nothing
unique
quite like
movie.
it.
Yeah, he took a punt on that one and it worked really well. And then, like you say, he got into his Kick-Ass and Kingsman stuff. But I feel like he peaked, and now his last like couple of movies have been a bit of a downward trend.
Right.
And I'm a little concerned that this one, the Argylle, might not break that run.
Well, I saw that he had plans to create like some kind of cinematic universe
Oh, really?
between that had Kingsman, Argylle, and then a third spy franchise that's yet to be named,
Oh,
all
interesting.
operating in the same universe as each other.
Yeah, that might be a bit too much.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, look, I'm looking forward to it, but my expectations are not crazy high for it. The other thing is as well, I do like when he's like balls out on like the violence side of it with his
Yeah.
fight scenes, and this one's PG, and I think
Oh, it's PG. I
yeah,
didn't realize
and
that.
he's reined it in, I believe, on this one, which I feel like might take the edge off his stuff, which
Yeah.
is kind of his point of his stuff. So I don't know how that's gonna work.
Oh, interesting. Well, I don't know what my expectations would be. I think I'm just expecting to have a fun time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, with the cast it's got, I mean, it can't be bad. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Like, it is stacked. That's my other worry, though, is that I feel like there might not be enough for all of those people to do. It's like when you get down to like the Bryan Cranstons and Samuel L. Jacksons, that they might just be like, "Hey, we like him, so we joined the movie, but we're not really much for us to do."
It is a 2-hour, 20-minute movie. So
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Well, maybe there is. Maybe there's a whole giant subplot of
Yeah,
Bryan Cranston's character development.
yeah, exactly.
I'm here for it if it is. And the one thing I did find out though, and like, because I read like one article about it, and it was mainly talking about the cat, and they said that it's actually Claudia Schiffer's cat, and that was when I discovered that he's married to Claudia Schiffer,
yeah.
and I had no idea of that.
Well, I saw like
I was like, good job, guy.
they got married before he was even famous. So I don't know
Oh,
how
really?
he pulled that. Well, like, I think he was like semi,
Well, he was
Like,
Guy Ritchie's producer for ages, wasn't he?
but it was like right after probably right after Snatch.
Oh, really?
So like kind of there's Guy Ritchie sort of just taking off.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, good
Yeah,
plan.
good.
I
Fair
guess.
play, fair play. Whatever riz this guy's got.
What?
See, I'm using slang that I don't
So-
understand.
So actually, it's so relevant. We were going to talk about what we were watching lately,
Right.
and
Do we got segues going now? Are we doing that well in our podcast?
I'm trying. Like, we're getting more experience
I
here.
like that segue up.
So in preparation for this, I also finally caught up on The Man from U.N.C.L.E.,
Yes.
the Guy Ritchie movie, and like they have a Guy Ritchie and Matthew Vaughan are close friends. They started out together, and Man from U.N.C.L.E. feels very much a piece with Kingsman and kind of this new movie Argylle. And I can't believe I slept on that one for so long.
It's good,
really,
right?
really
Isn't
great.
it really good?
I thought it was fantastic, and I think I've mentioned this to you before. I've always sort of been a little bit reserved on Henry Cavill,
Oh, really?
and I feel like if I had seen that movie at the time, I think it was 2015 it came out, I feel like I would have just been like a wholehearted fan.
You're on the yeah.
Like, he's
Because I've been on the Henry Cavill train
You have,
for
yeah.
years and years and years. I think he's freaking amazing.
So I think I just don't like the Superman movies, and I
Yeah,
don't think it's his
It
fault.
wasn't
Like,
fair for it. Yeah, same thing happened with Witcher. It's like he gets screwed over with these projects that he's so passionate about and he's perfectly cast for. Like, did you ever
Yeah.
see The Witcher?
I watched the pilot episode, and it did not pull me in. I never played the games or read the books or anything.
I hadn't, and I watched the first season, and that got me into it. And then I played The Witcher 3 all the way through, and then I watched the second season, which I didn't like as much, but yeah, I think it went on a bit of a downward trend, and that might be why he jumped ship. To be honest with you,
Well, everyone talks about Witcher 3 like it's the best game ever. So
it
I
really
do
is.
want to play
It
one.
really is.
But I also like I have a friend who said like they got close to 200 hours playing that game.
Yeah,
I'm like
you can
I'm
play
like
it.
I don't know if I could dedicate that much time to doing that.
Well, it's one of those things, right, where you don't have to put that much time in, but
Yeah.
you just want to because the world just pulls you in.
Yeah.
And the show, I really like the show. I mean, you should give it another go. Like the first season is very, very well done.
Okay.
And he's just like perfect as Geralt.
Oh yeah, and then he just stays in that role through the whole run of the show, right?
Yeah. And they haven't until
It's not replaced by a Hemsworth
well, we'll
brother.
see. That's the new season, right? We'll see how
Yeah.
that goes. I've got no interest in watching that show anymore. Like I say, the second season I didn't love, so replacing him with Hemsworth,
See,
I'm not really into.
it's hard for me to pick up a Netflix show like that when I know that like it's not going to be good for its whole run.
Yeah.
Or is the first season that good that it's worth kind of just investing in?
Yeah. That's it, right? You never know whether it's worth putting your heart and soul into a show who's just going to get canned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, like I saw Man from Uncle, and like I'm willing to be won over by Henry Cavill.
Yeah. He it's like giving him a chance to be Bond. And I think that
It's not going to happen.
no, it's not going to happen now, but that's what I mean. Like now he gets to do stuff like this. Like I read a quote from Matthew Vaughan said he picked up Cavill to play in Argylle because it's like that's like his James Bond role.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not even sure that Cavill would really want to play Bond at this
I think
point.
he was up for it for Casino Royale. He got like pretty far ahead in the
Yeah.
casting, and then obviously it went to Daniel Craig. But
Well, because he's already in his 40s now, right? So,
yeah, what they said when they didn't cast him for Casino Royale because he said he was too young.
right.
So he just kind of missed the boat
I think-
age wise. But I think he would have been perfect Bond though.
I think for Pierce Brosnan too, like they tried to cast him
Right.
like before Dalton even. And
Yeah,
he's like, I'm
yeah.
way too young to play the
Exactly.
character. But it's funny that they had their eyes on him for so long.
Yeah. But no, I would have loved to see Henry Cavill Bond.
Yeah, well,
'Cause
like,
he's super charismatic, which he doesn't get to do in all the time.
yeah, and well, so he missed the boat on him, missed the boat on Clive Owen.
Yeah, missed the boat on Big Idris Elba.
Oh
I
yeah,
would have loved to see that.
That would have been
Idris
great.
Elba Bond.
yeah. The internet was like demanding it too, so
Yeah.
they really missed their boat.
Some were demanding it, some were threatening to burn the whole world down if it happened.
Exactly. So, how about you? What have you been watching lately?
You put me to shame. I do not do any preparation. I sit and watch
Well,
really horrible TV shows.
well, these are just like long blind spots that were like bothering me, so I just was taking.
No, I should have watched The King's Man, but I'm glad I didn't because
I'd say
I
I'd take it
kind of
probably
felt
tip it
I
or
kind of thought it would be. Well, I feel like I need to be a completist now, though. Once I've seen this,
well, there were some good fights in it. I could say that.
are you struggling to find anything else to tag up on that?
Yeah,
It was a good fight, and that's it.
that's pretty much it. Yeah,
Who's the main star in that?
Ray Fiennes.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay, right, yeah.
And like, I don't even like his performance that much, but I can't fault him for it. Like,
No.
he's just acting in the movie he's in. So what bad TV shows?
Well, I say bad TV, but it's actually a pretty good show. I've been watching Welcome to Wrexham.
Oh, yeah.
Second season of Welcome to Wrexham, which I really enjoy, and it's really well done. If nobody's watching it, because I feel like people probably think it's just this is going to be a show about football or soccer, as you say. That's just going to be boring. I'm not into that at all. But they do a really good job, and especially the reason why I like it is because I'm from the UK originally, and I now live in Canada. And it does a really good job of like, because the market it's aiming for is obviously North America for majority. So it does a lot of explaining British things in terms of how the league works and like even just like slang and certain phrases. And it kind of just reminds me of like my day to day when I have to try and explain things to people. And it does a really good job. It's very like, but it's a very good intro into that sort of stuff for people.
Is it just kind of are Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney just like acting as like the dumb Americans who don't know anything?
Well, it's interesting because that's how it starts, right? And they're just like, "Oh, what are we doing? We're buying like a cheesy reality show."
Yeah.
It's like we're buying a club and we don't know what we're doing. But like they quickly just like get so drawn into it, and they like by the second season they're like fully like emotionally involved in this football club and the community in this like small town Wales. It's pretty crazy to see. But that's what I mean. It's like it's just a perfect. I don't know. A lot of it's just TV bullshit. Like I'm not that naive, but you can tell it's just like it just pulls you in with how good of a sport it is. And because in North America, it's mostly like seen as a joke, soccer and whatnot. But
Slowly changing.
yeah, it's slowly changing. But I think this show in particular is going to do a really good job
Yeah.
of swaying some people because it is crazy some of the stuff.
Well, between that and Ted Lasso, it's a real
That's true.
football renaissance.
But to be fair, the show like there's multiple episodes where it doesn't even focus on any of the sport. It's just about like the community.
Yeah,
Like
and it's like a business show too.
Yeah. But it gets into like people's stories and like we're gonna follow this one and do a whole show about how his kids got autism and how that works and like how there's like they follow one fan that's got autism about how like going to the game is like they'll like basically say turned her life around and
Right.
gave her like purpose and stuff. It's like it does a real good job of like
I was
getting those
sleeping on
stories.
this exit I had to get over really quick.
It's okay. Nobody on the podcast can tell when Trevor's just like cutting in front of semi trucks and going over multiple lanes, and I'm like white knuckling.
when they hear the car beeping at me because I'm going over a line.
I think all the beeps will cut out.
Yeah. Oh, you never. Well, I do really want to watch that show. Like I've been keeping up with Wrexham kind of in the news because you hear about
Yeah,
that's what the club's doing.
It's a bit like
It's a bit of a spoiler.
it's a bit of a spoiler for real life when it's like, are they gonna make it? And you're like, this was last year, and I know exactly what happened.
Yeah.
But even when you know exactly what's gonna happen, it still pulls you in because it's just done that well.
All right. Well, I definitely want to check it out now.
Yeah, everybody should check it out.
So,
Won an Emmy.
for like best documentary show about a football team.
Yes, yeah, exactly what it is. Best Ryan Reynolds television show.
All right. Yeah. So, do you want to talk about our question for this week?
Sure, let's get into it. So, our question for this week is, we went a bit obvious this week with the question just to keep it on theme with the spy movie, but we're gonna do best spy movies that don't have James Bond in, right?
Yeah.
We're just gonna take Bond out of the equation because we could do a whole thing of just the best Bond movies.
I feel like, once like the new Bond comes out, there's a chance to dive into that. And like Bond seems like its own separate
Would
thing.
you say though, like without getting into it too deep, would you say that Bond is the best spy movie series? I mean series, I guess, but if you're gonna pick your favorite spy movies of all time, would it be a Bond movie? I guess is what I'm asking, even though we're not allowed to pick it for this question. Put you on the spot, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if it would like go to the very top, but say if I was picking like my top 10, like
Right.
5 would probably be Bond movies.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's just a quantity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I probably agree with that.
there's just so many good ones. Like
Yeah.
I know we didn't want to get into a Bond conversation.
I
Here we
said
go.
we won't do Bond, then what did I do?
Yeah.
Just ask you about Bond, that's funny.
But so the series that competes for me, and maybe I could just like dive into one of my picks here, is Mission Impossible, and I absolutely love that series. And like Bond is a mix between like a spy and action, and Mission Impossible is maybe a little heavier on the action than on the spy stuff, but like the espionage stuff in the Mission Impossible movies is still like really top notch.
Way more masks.
Way more mass. But the best part about Mission Impossible, like the recent Christopher McQuarrie led ones, is that like the mass machines always break.
Yeah.
Like so in Mission Impossible Fallout, which is what I contend is the best of the series, and
I'm gonna be honest, I have a real hard time remembering which one's which.
that's the Henry Cavill one.
Right, yes, that is a good one.
So like and the best scene in the movie is the bathroom fight scene.
Yeah, where he reloads his arms.
Well, they're trying to like subdue. I think John Lark is the name of the bad guy, and in like the incredible fight between Tom Cruise and Henry Cavill and John Lark, the mass machine gets broken in the bathroom,
Yeah.
and then Tom Cruise just has to pretend to be this guy without a mask and just has to bet that like the person he's meeting with doesn't actually know what he's supposed to look like.
It's ringing a bell now.
And so like that's sort of like gambit and like kind of having to plunge blindly into a situation is kind of what is so special about Mission Impossible, and plus all the practical stunts and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
they did a really interesting thing with that movie series. It took a while for it to find
Yeah.
its feet. Like the first movie is wildly different to the second movie, which is quite wildly different to the third movie.
Yeah.
And then it kind of found its rhythm, like you say, once
McQuarrie started.
McQuarrie got on board, and those
Yeah.
guys work together so well. It's like insane.
The fourth one is the Brad Bird helmed one, which I think is really, I think that's the second
That is a
best
good
one.
one. That is a really good one.
But McQuarrie is the writer for that one, and he wrote
Right.
all
That makes a
the
lot of
rest from
sense.
there, and then he's directed the last three, and it's kind of just his franchise now with Tom Cruise.
Exactly.
They're creative partners together.
Yeah, I don't know how long they're going to keep that going. I feel like I don't know if they've said they're doing another one after. Although I don't think it's called Dead Reckoning Part 2 anymore, is it?
Well, because
changing the name, right?
it didn't do the kind of box office they're looking for, which like all the naming things Part 1 like
Yes,
does not
it's
get
risky.
people want to go out to see it because you're
Risky.
thinking like, am I going to go see half a movie?
Exactly.
So I think there might even be like retroactively just changing its name to Dead Reckoning.
I feel sometimes as well, not to go on too much of a tangent, but I think like the big stunts that they do in those movies, I think they do themselves a bit of a disservice. Like that motorcycle jump that they did in Dead Reckoning was amazing, but they had hammered it with the marketing so much.
Right.
Like everybody had seen that scene multiple times and like seen the backstage making of it before the movie even came out, and I think it just takes away like if you just saw that happen in the movie and you're like, holy crap, or if you just heard, hey, he did a motorcycle stunt for real. But I feel like with them just trying to market it so hard, I think it takes away a bit of the
Well, like, I see what you mean because they're showing the best part of the movie.
it's like, here's the best part of the
movie.
movie multiple times, and then you see the movie and go, oh, this is the bit that I've seen, yeah, that's really good, but
Yeah.
I don't care anymore.
Well, I know plenty of people who wanted to go see it, but they released it in
Oh, it was
IMAX the
terrible.
week before Oppenheimer.
Yeah, that was a terrible plan.
I don't know what they were thinking. Like, I think that's just like, Tom Cruise ruled the box office the year before with Top Gun Maverick, so he thought he didn't have to worry about
Yeah, I
Oppenheimer
don't know
too much.
What that was about at all. Yeah, I guess they weren't expecting Oppenheimer to go. Nobody really expected that, though, I don't think.
So, anyways, enough of Mission Impossible.
Yeah, that's Mission Impossible. Great series.
Great series. I absolutely love it.
Another series I was going to bring up is Bourne,
Yeah.
which I think obviously has ups and downs in the series. But when that first one came out, it kind of just redefined that whole genre in a pretty amazing way, I think. I remember being blown away by that first Bourne movie.
Well, it just seems like it kind of invented its own like subgenre.
It basically did, right? And then it's had a lot of imitators since, and a lot of people who actually imitated it maybe better, to be honest. But than some of the later Bourne movies, at least.
I do love that first one. I have a hard time differentiating what happens in the sequels.
Yes, I couldn't tell you anything that happens in sequels.
And I've never seen the Jeremy Renner one.
I did not see the Jeremy Renner one either, because it's one of those, right? It's like, why do you care about a Bourne movie without Bourne in?
Yeah, it just makes no sense.
They even called it the Bourne. Is it the Bourne? Whatever.
The Bourne continuation.
The Bourne. Where's Waldo? Did you ever see the show they did? The TV show? Was it Treadstone or something like that?
No, I didn't even know about
Yeah,
this.
they did a TV show set in that universe called Treadstone, I believe, which I heard wasn't that great either. It got cancelled.
Well, did they not even have Bourne in the name of the show?
Not in the show, no.
What are they thinking?
I think they learned their lesson. We're like, we're not going to call it Bourne if he's not going to show up.
Yeah, seriously.
But then no one knew it was about Bourne, so no one watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of a catch-22 with that one. No, but the Bourne series, I think, is definitely worth a mention. But yeah, I feel like you could just take the first movie and forget the rest.
Right. Another movie I want to shout out that I have just seen this past year, and is already one of my favorites, is 3 Days of the Condor. 3 Days of the Condor, sorry.
I've not seen that one either.
It's Robert Redford. I think it's 1975 or 76.
Yeah. Definitely a classic, but yeah, one that I've never got around to watching.
It's like it's sort of like a subgenre of like regular people who are getting pulled into the spy world.
Oh, right. Yes.
So like he's an analyst who works for the CIA, but he's like just like an academic. His job is to read books and write down ideas that the CIA might want to use from those books.
Right.
And then one day he's out to lunch and he comes back and he finds like everyone in his like CIA operating office has been murdered, except for him. And then he's kind of has to be plunged into the world of like to become a capital S spy.
Right.
And he's like, it's like a phone technician, and he kind of uses that to his advantage, using different kind of skills in that world. And Max von Sydow plays like the assassin who's trying to kill him.
Nice.
So yeah, I really highly recommend it. It's one that was on my watch list for a long time, and so now it's one of my favorites.
It's funny you describing that about how it's like a guy not from the world, but he's in the CIA and he gets brought in and has to use it. Like, you know what it made me think of, which I literally just thought of this minute. I don't know if it even really counts. The Rock.
Yeah,
technically it's not a spy movie. I mean, he's basically playing James Bond, and
well, that's the thing. Like, there's a lot where like
I guess we didn't define what a spy movie is. There's no real espionage in The Rock.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and I think Connery in that one is basically playing like, what if James Bond?
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's what I mean. Was captured,
it's
right?
Basically, just James Bond in his older years.
But then, yeah, it's basically like they're doing like Die Hard and Alcatraz, right?
It's not a spy movie, is it? Just because it has an old spy in it.
Yeah, but it's also the plot of like a lot of the Tom Clancy, Jack Ryan stuff, where he's just like, well, I'm just a regular analyst, and oh no, I gotta figure out how to be a spy now.
And talking about people who aren't spies getting pulled into that world, one that I think is a great one is North by Northwest.
Oh yeah, no, that's great. That's a great shout out.
Yeah, that's an amazing movie. So it's just like Hitchcock at his best.
Yeah, there's a few like, good Hitchcock spy movies. Like there's Notorious and 39 Steps.
Yeah.
And I think it's called Sabotage.
Yes, I think
it's more about like finding a spy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he was a master of the genre.
Definitely.
Anything else on your list?
Yeah, I had some others because I took it in a different route. I was thinking about comedies. So I was like, you got to talk about Austin Powers.
That's true, yeah.
International Man of Mystery, Austin Powers.
So I was wanting to ask you, like, how did those movies play in England?
It's funny because they were very popular.
Okay.
Which, like, and I don't know if maybe they were just popular because I'm from up north, and most of the skewering it does is
like London in
like
the 60s, right?
Yeah, skewering a lot of that London stuff that we would also take the piss out of. So, but yeah. Well, I mean, it's just good, isn't it? I mean, if you do it well, like you can parody any sort of culture or time, I guess.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I love those movies when they came out. And I've not been back to them very recently, so I don't know. I'm guessing they probably don't hold up very well.
Yeah, it's been a while since I feel like I even tried.
There might be some problematic stuff in there, but maybe not.
Just only have to assume.
You just got just that time on it. No,
yeah.
And on theme with British comedies, Johnny English. You ever seen Johnny English?
I've seen the first two Johnny Englishes. Yes, I haven't seen the third one.
Like let's not pretend they're great movies, but you got to give Rowan Atkinson his props, man. He's a legend.
When it's all like stuff kind of living under the shadow of Bond, right? Like
exactly
about how big of a cultural impact that series had. Yeah. That there's multiple movies that are just parodying what they're doing.
I just thought another one. Get Smart. Did you ever watch Get Smart?
Yeah. Well, I like not the TV show, but like the
No,
the
I never saw the TV show either. Yeah, I remember that. I couldn't tell you anything about that movie, but I remember thinking it was pretty good at the time.
I remember him in a jet screaming.
Just a lot of screaming, Steve Carell. Yeah. What did you see the Melissa McCarthy? Was it just called Spy?
Yeah, the Paul Feig one.
I remember that being way better than I was expecting it to be because I'm not a huge Melissa McCarthy fan. Like, I think she can be a bit too much, I think.
I like her when, like, I think she has, like, a really top level, but she's not always operating at that level.
Yes, I would agree with that. Yeah, I think it depends on the director she's working with.
Well, she often works with her husband.
Yeah, that can't be a good.
Well, and
idea.
he's not a good director, right? He's kind of just like hitched his wagon to her star.
Fair enough.
And like, she's just gonna make her marriage work. So like we all, like we all do.
Sure, I'll be in the movie, dear.
Yeah, exactly.
But I remember the only thing I remember from that movie is that I loved the Jason Statham character in that movie. It was just like the Statham ramped up to 11.
Yeah,
And it was brilliant. So just for that, I would give that one a good mention. But now I can't think of any other comedies. But no, I was.
well,
I
there's
started going.
Spy Hard, like the Leslie
Spy Hard.
Nielsen. Did you ever see that
That
one?
was a great one. Top Secret.
Oh yeah, Top Secret. You know what? I love like the individual bits from that movie,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't really love that movie.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
There's a lot of like awkward.
It's definitely funny bits in it, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, and I love like the Zucker Abrams thing.
Yeah.
Like I love Airplane and the Naked Gun movies, but like I don't know, that one just doesn't land fully. Like, so I saw like all the funny memes about that movie and like the video clips, so I was very excited to finally see it.
It's very memeable, right? Yeah, you can pick things out, which like that's pretty hilarious. But yeah,
there's a lot of dead.
Doesn't always make a good narrative at all. No.
Well, getting back to serious ones, did you ever see the Ipcris file?
I did not.
So that's a Michael Caine one from
okay.
the mid '60s, and Michael Caine was like pegged early on to be a James Bond. So like he obviously missed the boat to be a James Bond, but this is it's very James Bond-esque spy movie.
See a proper Cockney James Bond. James Bond. I don't know how that would work.
But it's good. Like it's James Bond with like some hypnosis thrown in there.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if you like like the Sean Connery Bond era.
Yeah.
You'd like this one a lot.
Well, I'll have to give that one a go. Did you ever see Bridge of Spies?
Yeah.
I've not seen that one, but I hear that's good for a spy.
Yeah, well,
spy thriller.
That's sort of the same thing we were talking about like normal person getting thrown into the spy world.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like Tom Hanks isn't like acting like a spy per se. He's more like operating like outside of that world as a diplomat, although he's like a criminal attorney.
Right.
But no, it's very good movie, actually written by the Coen brothers, I believe.
Oh yeah, okay. I didn't know that.
So I'm not sure why they didn't want to direct the script, but that's a Spielberg movie written by the Coen brothers. Kind of weird.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. It must be good though with that sort of pedigree.
Yeah. Did you see Tinker Tailor Soldier?
I was just gonna say that because I was like trying to think of other movies with spy in the name, and I was like, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. That's a decent movie. That's a great one.
Yeah, man.
And that's that's a proper spy movie.
Like Brits really do dominate the spy genre.
Yeah, it's like I love the ones where it's like this is just a proper spy thriller. Like there's no explosions. There's nothing.
Yeah, like it's just
a lot of excitement happening. It's just lots of tense espionage.
It's just pure espionage, and
it's just all atmosphere, and you're just absolutely bricking it that someone's gonna get caught.
Yeah. Oh, and I've added that one to my reading list for this year.
Oh yeah. I hear it's a really great book. I never read it. Now I'm all excited to see a spy thriller. This is not going to be anything like any of these movies.
Well, yeah, this one seems like it's going to be a mix between Kingsman and I don't know, Stranger Than Fiction.
It reminded me of that movie that Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum did recently. What was it called?
Lost City?
Yes. Did you ever see that?
No.
So I saw it. It
wasn't Brad Pitt.
It was fine. Yes, he was, and like he played like the super spy in it.
Yeah.
But like when I saw that, I was like, oh, it's like author gets brought into an adventure that's basically about the book. Right? Like, I saw that movie before. This one's a bit more meta than that, I think. But
Romancing the Stone is sort of like that too.
Right? I had a huge soft spot for Romancing the Stone when
It's a good movie.
When I was a kid. I don't know why, but I think we had the VHS somewhere taped off the TV, and I saw that movie so many times. And the sequel, Jewel of Denial. I used to love it.
I think I've just seen Jewel of the Nile once. It's been a long time, but I love Romancing the Stone.
Yeah, really good. I'd make my wife watch it last year, and she only got like half an hour in. She was like, no, not for me.
Really? Because I would think of that as like a perfect 4-quadrant movie. Like I
said, I was like, you gotta love this movie.
Kathleen Turner?
She had no time for it.
Wow. Okay.
No, don't know what.
No, I think that's great. Like very surprising. Robert Zemeckis directed that one.
Right. It's a good movie.
Yeah,
it's really good.
All right, we're at the theater here.
Yeah, we're ready to go. So yeah, looking forward to it.
All right, so if you're a first-time listener, so Pete and I, we drive to the theater, and then we're gonna go and watch the movie. Then we're gonna give a 5-minute spoiler-free review, and then go into spoiler territory after that, and then also tell you the best time to go pee.
Yeah, so you can pause it right now and go and see the movie, or you can wait for us a little review to see if you want to go see it. But yeah, stick around and hear our opinion.
Okay.
All right.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah, see you later, guys. Welcome back, everyone. We just came out of the theater after seeing Argylle.
Wow, what a movie.
It's definitely a movie.
But what did you think?
Just get right into it.
Yeah.
I didn't really like it. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah. Oh shit! I haven't got my seatbelt on.
Sorry.
That's what the dinging is. That's
It's not my driving.
That's my bad. Hold on. Okay, we're good now. Let's not break any laws.
So I saw a lot of flaws in that movie, but I mostly had a good time.
Yeah. It was fine. It was fine. I was with it up until a point, and then it just completely lost me. If I'm being honest.
Well, it did lose a lot of its energy and momentum going into the third act.
Yeah, there was a certain transition point where I was like, I felt like the movie just changed
A little bit, yeah.
And I was a bit, which wouldn't have been the worst thing. I was still like, okay, well, let's just see where it goes. But yeah, it just a lot of the stuff it was doing in the third act just did not connect with me at all.
Yeah, I could totally see it because the first half of the movie is pretty strong.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah, I was really into it actually. I think that's why I feel so down on it, is because I think I was really with it until the second half of the movie, like you say.
Yeah. So, how do you feel about the performances in general?
I mean, you're gonna get good performances. I think. I thought they pretty much did a good job. I think, and I don't know. We're not getting into spoilers, but yeah, I think that there's one performance in particular I wasn't buying, and why it didn't work for me.
Right.
In the second half.
I could probably guess who you mean.
With the flips it a bit.
Yeah. Oh, and I don't know if it's spoiling it to say maybe this, but like Henry Cavill is really not in as much as I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, you see, and that was my worry. I think I mentioned it on the way up, is like it had so many people in it, and I just felt like it's not going to give them all stuff to do. And I think that was justified, that concern.
Well, Sam Jackson got to enjoy a basketball game.
Jeez, I feel like he showed up for one day of filming.
Oh, that's 100% a one. We'll give you $500,000 for one day, and you can be in the exact same location.
Yeah,
you'll be sitting.
All you have to do is just be Sam Jackson.
Yeah, no,
exactly. It's like, what's the character? It's just Sam Jackson. Just do that.
So P report. I went at the 56-minute mark, right after two characters get on a boat.
Yes, you missed nothing, by the way.
Yeah, I was pretty happy. Like I sensed like the energy going down.
You got a real spidey sense for that stuff, because I swear to God you left and I was like, I'm gonna have to figure out what he misses. Then when you came back, I was like, nothing happened. There's absolutely zero happened.
Yeah, as soon as a boat starts going, haul ass to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
About 2 minutes after I got back, there's like a big moment.
Right.
So don't take all the time in the world.
Yeah, you did get it down pretty quick.
Yeah. So anything else you want to add, Pete, before we go into spoiler territory?
No, I don't think so.
It's tough with this one.
It is tough because everything you want to say about it, there's a lot of twisty turny things and things that happen and that you can't really get into. They didn't quite work for me. I thought it was good. Like the action scenes were all quite good. Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't get. It just, by the time we got to the third of the movie, I was just kind of finding myself a little bored with it, which I was kind of surprised because that's where things were ramping up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
well, I can't dispute anything you're saying. I think I was just high enough on that first little bit that it kind of carried me through, and I don't know. I sort of have a read on the movie that I think kind of got me through that
Okay.
a bit more, but I don't. It's impossible to say anything without kind of spoiling it. But
Yeah. I feel like it was going for like, let's sort of skewer the tropes of those movies while also doing them and sort of try and get away with it in that way. And so I kind of saw what they were trying to do with that, but it didn't quite work for me.
Yeah. Well, for me, I would say this is still one that I recommend going to see in the theater. If not just for those first few fight scenes.
And there's some gorgeous visuals in it as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, the fight scenes, well, the first one on the train especially, but then the second one in the apartment, they both have like a changing perspective angle to it.
Yes.
That's really interesting, and yeah, they're also quite funny.
Yeah. Sam Rockwell was amazing.
I say
I love him in everything he does.
Sam Rockwell is definitely the MVP of the movie.
Yeah.
And for someone who might have looked at the trailer and thought like, oh my gosh, this cat's gonna be
right.
Like the cat wasn't in it all as much as I thought it was.
No, it wasn't.
So
they really pushed it in the market.
Yeah. So I don't know. Actually, my mom asked if we were gonna go see this because she was excited about the cat.
The cat movie.
She likes the cat from the trailer, so we got some people. But no, the cat wasn't in it as much as I thought it was gonna be. And only like a couple like egregious CGI.
Yeah, I was gonna say there was a couple of like, oh dear, what's going on with that CG on that cat?
Yeah. Well, and there were a few instances too where I thought like, could they not have just gone to the location in real life? Like, do they have to?
Yeah.
Do they have to just green screen so much? But I guess it's more of Vaughn's style, anyways.
True.
It's not a Mission Impossible movie where they're actually going to go to the real place.
That's fair, I suppose. Yeah, but I agree what you're saying. And
so what would your rating be out of 6.5?
6.5. I'd probably.
Is it a fail for you?
It's on the cusp, honestly.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it really is. Like, yeah.
I think this is the first time.
Yeah,
you've been more negative.
I know. Yeah, it's usually me loving everything, but no, I don't know why. I just like.
There was
a point in the movie where I'm like, it's lost me. I'm not on board with this anymore.
I can totally understand how it could lose people. Like it's sort of lost me too.
Yeah, those scenes where I was like, this should be fun. What I'm seeing should be fun in a ridiculous sort of way, but I'm having no fun, and I just think it's stupid. There was multiple times that happened, and I was like, oh, it's going. I know what it's going for. It's just really not hitting the mark for me.
Yeah. Well, near the climax, there's a big shootout, and you have to think like a previous version of Vaughn would have really nailed it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't quite a success, right? It was a near miss.
It's like Vaughn light.
Sort of, yeah. Well, I'm glad you said like the PG rating.
Yeah, I think that
was in my mind.
I think that did hurt it, to be honest.
Because I think it actually could have benefited a little bit from some like graphic violence.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it alludes to it and then it just doesn't show it.
Yeah. Well, you compare that the big action scene in the hallway. Compare that to the big fight towards the end of Kick-Ass.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whereas that's kind of what he's trying to go for, but he can't quite.
No. It just seems like it's lacking.
Yeah, so it's I don't know, like it still for me was.
I mean, it's worth
enjoyable enough. Well, I know,
I was gonna say 3, but I feel like 3 might be harsh.
But 3's a fail.
Yeah, 3 is a fail.
You can give it a 3.25.
3, give it right on the 50% point.
Yeah, I'll give it a 3.75.
Yeah. I gotta say, 3.
You're a very reluctant pass.
3.5. Like I recommend you see it, but also the caveat you might not like it.
Yeah. Well,
if that makes sense. How is that a recommendation? I don't know.
Well, we're fans of the movie going experience, right?
Yeah, and like I say, there was a good movie in there. I'm convinced it was. The first half I was really on board. I just didn't like where it went. Is all it was, and maybe I'm just colored by my disappointment in where I wanted it to go, or I expected it to go, maybe. But I don't know. It really, really lost me.
Well, why don't we get into spoiler territories in about a minute? for those of you who will tap out and wait to see the movie first, let us know what you think eventually at firstlookfinalwordpod@gmail.com, or hit us up on all our socials. Also, we want to know what your favorite non-Bond spy movie
Oh,
is.
and by the way, while I was in that movie, I was like, I forgot to mention one of my favorite non-Bond spy movies, True Lies.
Oh yeah, well there you go, right there.
Because I was getting some parallels of True Lies in that a little bit in the first half, but then
Well,
I was like, oh, I want to mention that.
I was actually reminded, just because Sam Rockwell was in this movie, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind.
Oh, right, yes.
So spy movies are plenty.
There's lots that we forgot, so you let us know the ones we forgot.
Yeah. All right, so spoiler territory in 3, 2, 1.
Sure. Spoilers from this point forward.
Okay. So basically, I'm loving this movie up until France, right? Are you the same?
You know what? I was still on board with France. You know when it lost me? When they changed her haircut. And they changed his haircut. And they were like, okay, now we're two different characters.
Well, because I see what you mean. Because like they're basically like cosplaying as the characters.
Yeah,
Argylle,
which I
don't understand the decision for them to do that.
No, and like I was still on board. I was like, okay, let's see how it goes. But that whole situation, like when they were in there in the dance, I was like, this is a different movie now. These people aren't even acting like the same characters they were. And
Yeah,
I'm like, I mean, for her, I guess that's because she's getting her memory back. But I was like, all the work they did in the first half of the movie to build those characters, I feel like they just sort of tore it down and were like, no, we're just going to do like they're different characters now and just go on this mad, crazy romp for the rest of the movie, which would have worked if I felt like it was actually good. Well, it's a bit harsh to say.
So for me, I think the movie's working really, really well in that first half. And then when it's revealed that she's actually an agent and there was hypnosis, like I'm still into it, but it kind of like I feel like that would work better if that reveal came like way at the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's true.
And then like she's sort of like discovering there's something off the whole time. It's kind of ramping up, but then half the movie she knows that she's a former agent.
Different character almost, right?
And then, by the end, I think like she's just like, kicking way too much ass.
Yeah.
It's
like nothing against her. She really went for it, but I was not buying any of that. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because it's against type for her, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's my biases, but I just wasn't buying it.
Well, to be honest, I've never been the biggest fan of hers.
Well, yeah. But that's what I mean. Like, the character she played in the first half of the movie was right in her wheelhouse. She could do that really well.
Yeah.
It's like this neurotic, sort of nerdy person.
Yeah.
I thought she did quite well now. And then when she had to switch to badass spy, I was like, I see what you're doing. You're flipping on its head and subverting it, but it didn't work. I didn't buy her.
That's why, I think someone like maybe Emily Blunt be better in that kind of role.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so the read that I was talking about, it's like the first half of the movie, it looks like she's like basically losing her mind.
Yes.
And so I'm thinking, like, is this a movie about writer's block? And then she's writing herself into the story because she doesn't know how.
I know what you mean. I was kind of thinking that too. I was like, oh, they're gonna do something really weird, where this is like not like you say it's in her head or it's not real or whatever, or he's not real.
Well, and then when it's kind of revealed that Catherine O'Hara and Bryan Cranston aren't really her parents, I'm like, oh, this is like Total Recall.
Yes, that's exactly what it was like. It was exactly like the Sharon Stone in Total Recall.
And so
that switch.
And she kills her parents, but it's not really her parents. So it's like she's living out her fantasies of being a spy, and then like
it was very Total Recall. You're right about.
And so that was kind of getting me through that the stuff towards the end that I wasn't really liking. Is I'm like, well, maybe there's like intended to be a deeper layer of this.
Yeah.
Where, it's either it's a writer's block, or this is all just a complete fantasy where, like how Argylle book 5 or book 6 goes, is that she writes herself into the story.
Yeah.
And so I found, and so like all the cheesy stuff is a bit easier to swallow when it's through that lens. But everything you're saying also is still very true in that, like, it's a lot of sloppy execution.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think I get what he was doing. Like you say, it's trying to be that overt crazy action. It's trying to sort of like I was saying, it's trying to like satire that, but at the same time be that.
Yeah.
But I just felt like it needed that, like what you're saying, like if they'd made that a bit more clear, or there was like, that was the twist right at the end, was like, oh, that was actually all just a fantasy in her head.
Yeah.
Like I think it needed a better framing device than what it
Yeah.
had. The framing device was just like, oh, and there she's a spy, and then they're in love, and I was like, okay.
Well, it certainly leads you to think, like, that's actually what it is, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't really.
That's what I mean.
Does it make it seem ambiguous?
It's not ambiguous at all.
I think it's just me maybe reading it a bit too into it, or wishing that's what it
Yeah,
was.
well, that's what I mean. I feel like there was a better movie in there. Like that first half of the movie set up for it to be a better movie than the final act, like execution.
Well,
Sort of gave us.
when it's switching between Sam Rockwell and Henry Cavill, I'm like,
Yes.
this is awesome.
Yeah, that
really
was
love it.
I was a bit worried they were starting to overuse it a bit. I thought in the fight scenes, like the first, well, like on the train, it was like really doing really well, and even like in the building when he flies over and lands in the chair, that was amazing. Just the little looks that, that Henry Cavill was throwing. But I was like, oh, is this gonna be the rest of the movie with them just flipping between the both? Because I don't know how much of that, how it's gonna last. But then they quickly did away with that, and then I really missed it.
Yeah. No, I was liking it quite a bit, but you're right. Like, they probably couldn't have sustained it the whole time, but they could have found, like, they basically just wrote Henry Cavill out of the movie.
Yeah,
Like,
to
they
your
could have
point,
found
to your point, it's like there's actually literally a scene where she like looks at me, it's like, you don't need me anymore, I'm gonna go away now,
Goodbye.
and like you're like, no,
the Argylle was
please don't write Henry Cavill out of the movie, like keep him in here.
I wonder if that was like a scheduling thing for him.
He's like my contract is now complete. Goodbye.
Well, so was it working for you, like that scene where they're in the park in London and it's switching between, Dallas Bryce Howard and Sam Rockwell and Bryan Cranston, and then also switching to Henry Cavill and John Cena, and they're all kind of saying the same dialogue, switching back and forth between that.
Yeah, I think that's what I found a bit too much.
Oh, like it was really working for me.
Like I liked it, but I think he was just doing it a bit too much. Like it was a lot of like repeating the same lines. Like when he was doing that, he was doing that hacking, and then John Cena would say the same line. It was pretty cool, and I liked that. But yeah, and honestly, I wouldn't have minded if they'd carried that on.
Well, and what they should have done more of is, it's like have you seen Paycheck?
Yes.
Whereas like, because she's basically like leaving clues to herself, right?
Yeah,
they should have done more of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Where like she's like, like I've been in this location before, or like I've wrote a character.
Yeah, it's true. Like they did it like when they started, when like he went to punch her and she like her instincts took over and she could fight. Like I was like, that's always cool when they do that, where like she doesn't remember much, but it's just like comes natural to her, and then like slowly it builds up. But it was like no, it's like but then it's like no, instantly. She basically just and then
it did come back too quickly.
Yeah, and then it was like, well, how much does she remember? Because they're not making it very clear. She's kind of acting. Is she just pretending, or does she actually know?
And she doesn't know how to send an email.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that was stupid.
There was so many nicks you could pick with it. It was like weird. The stuff.
Well, that's the thing. Like I don't want to be.
We don't need
because
to
obviously
like too much because
it's not meant to be taken too seriously.
No, there was so many holes in it. Because like my biggest one was like, when she was trying to figure out where in France he was, and she was like, oh, we were driving for 12 hours. And then part of me is like, how did they even drive from London to the French countryside when she said they had no passport? Like, did they get the ferry? Did they go on the tunnel? Like, How did
Well,
they manage to do
Maybe it's
that?
before Brexit then. Like before Brexit,
But you
could you not do that?
still need a passport to get from one country to another.
Do you?
To get from England, to get from the UK to Europe
Well,
to France, yeah.
Well,
There's still customs.
Well,
You don't just bomb around wherever you want.
I've taken a train from Italy to Austria before, and they didn't check our passport.
Well, I mean, that's mainland Europe, though. I'm talking about
Does it?
the
Okay,
UK.
I didn't know if that.
Well, no, I might be wrong about that. Maybe you don't need your passport.
I did take the train from England to France before, but I cannot tell you if anyone
Yes.
actually checked my passport.
No, I did. That was a long time ago. Maybe you did it.
Well, I'm not that old.
No, I mean when I
Oh, what you did?
yeah, I did it a long time ago. But even so, it's just like they were, and then they were like went from France to where were they, in Arabia somewhere?
Yeah, I think they were off like the coast of.
So it's like, well,
Saudi Arabia.
Could you figure out where in France you were when you left, or did you fall asleep again?
Well, what was confusing about that scene is because like she's pretending that she's completely
Right.
on their side.
Yeah, that's
where
that's
she's
fair.
secretly
she's pretending, right?
she's secretly trying to send Sam Jackson all the information, but it does still seem like she found him for them.
Yes.
Like,
And it's funny because when she wakes up in the chair, Bryan Cranston's burning the thumb drive, right? And then 5 minutes later, she's like, "I'm sending all the information to him," and it's like, how did you do that? Because where did you even get the information from?
yeah, did they keep just like a local file saved?
Yeah, and then he
there?
destroyed it. It's like, why would he do that? Yeah. Anyway, let's not get into nitpicking because there was a lot of holes in that. But I mean, there wasn't important, like you say. That's not what they were going for. It wasn't. It's not the hyper realism.
So was everyone in the cast working for you aside from
I really felt like,
Dallas Bryce Howard? Not to be mean, but yeah, I feel like
yeah,
she's kind of the part that needed to work a bit.
Yeah, I really liked her in the when she was playing I forget the character names now, but when she was playing the novelist part,
Ellie.
Yeah, when she was playing Ellie, I thought she was doing a really good job. I thought her and Sam Rockwell were really working well together. And then when they switched and they were supposed to have more chemistry, I felt like they had way less.
That's true. Yeah.
I was really rooting for this couple.
Well, Rockwell with that
First
haircut
episode.
was ridiculous.
Oh.
Like it's a stupid haircut to begin with, but like Henry Cavill can somewhat pull it off.
No, not even. Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't know what you call that haircut.
And like, I don't. And this is a small nitpick, but I didn't even. Her dress was really, like, throwing me off. It was just like there was a choice to put her in that dress, and I was like, that is not a good dress for her to wear. Like the color and the cut was just so distracting.
Well, and her
And she wore it for like an hour. I was like, can you just put her somewhere else,
it
please?
did seem like a miscalculation for someone who's like such a notorious redhead to change it to blonde.
The
And like
hair was throwing me
she
off.
doesn't quite work as a blonde.
No, I didn't think so. And the short hair with the blonde, it didn't work at all for me.
But yeah, someone like Emily Blunt, Charlize Theron is probably a bit too obvious because like, you know,
Yeah, now
Theron's such a
you said
badass all the
you said Emily Blunt, like
She
I feel
would
like
really be
that would
perfect,
have been perfect.
because she can really do like both of those
Yeah.
kind of
Oh yeah.
archetypes really well.
Yep. Definitely.
I didn't love Cranston or Catherine O'Hara in this
No,
either.
that's what I mean. I felt like their characters were just so thin. It was like so it's like, hey Brian, you're just angry at everybody and go. Like when he was pretending to be the dad, I was like, oh, he's actually acting now. I can get behind him being the dad. It's like Malcolm in the Middle, but then he's just like, blah, 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 blah.
Well, you could tell like the instructions are like, you know, we're playing this as big and straight down the middle as you possibly can because you're both being archetypes here.
Yes.
And
I get that.
We're poking fun at the genre a little bit.
So just ham it up, right?
But yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like it's a bit lazy as well.
Yeah, well, you can't have your
like
cake and eat it. You can't make fun of something that's not good by making your shit not good.
Yeah. Well, but like what Rockwell's doing is like he's playing a Bond, but he's playing like a schlub at the same time.
Exactly,
like it's quite a good character.
But then they drop the whole schlub angle in the second half of the movie.
Yeah.
And he just becomes like a sidekick character with weird hair.
Yeah, and like he's not getting his ass kicked as much. Like that was the funny
thing.
Like,
I mean, yeah.
He was winning fights, but like sort of like barely.
Yeah, and this is something that I think he did purposely as well, because like the first half of the movie was, I think, seemed more grounded, funnily enough. Even though that's supposed to be the fantasy, right? Because like that's supposed to be the fantasy that's not real, and then the second half is supposed to be the reality of her character, like this is who she is, a real person. But they kind of flipped it and made the fake thing seem more grounded in realistic.
Right.
And the second half just totally overblown and crazy, which I feel like it must have been a purposeful choice. But I just didn't like. I didn't like the second half.
Well,
but a bit as much, so I was a bit disappointed.
So if you go with my read, which I honestly I don't think is the actual read of it, is that in the first half she's slipping between reality and fantasy, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah,
so
the second half she's deep in fantasy. Yeah.
the fantasy is Henry Cavill, who's like winning these fights easily,
Right,
but
yeah.
switching back to Sam Rockwell, that's like has one foot in reality where he's getting his ass kicked.
Right. Yeah.
But then when we get to the second half of the movie, she's actually just fully in the fantasy.
Right. Yeah.
And so then everything seems a lot smoother.
See, that's a better movie if they'd flipped it back to the reality at some point,
Yeah.
but they never did.
So maybe the book scene at the end is back to reality, and then those are just people who are in her life that she wrote into the book. I don't know.
I don't think you can swing that. I think you're trying to rewrite it into a better movie. I want to see your version.
Yeah.
I want to see your version because I would have loved that actually. But
So how do you think this movie will do overall? Like,
I don't think it's gonna do well. There was like 4 people in that IMAX screening on a Thursday night.
yeah, so we saw it Thursday night at 10 p.m. to be fair, but you checked the
But the
7 o'clock show.
The 7 o'clock showing had that.
Was it half full?
No, it had maybe like 12
That's
seats.
not a good sign.
No. And they're not putting it in many theaters tomorrow either. So yeah, I don't think word of mouth has been great for this one. It's not getting rave reviews from what I had a quick look, and it's sitting at about like a 6 on IMDb, which is not the best place to check it, but
Well, it's better than their Rotten Tomatoes score.
Yes,
The Rotten Tomatoes score is like 36%.
oh,
which,
is it? Oh, that's harsh. I wouldn't go that low.
yeah. Well, the thing is, like, though, but if 6 out of 10 critics feel like the way you do, then it
True.
gets the Rotten score, right?
True
But
enough, yeah.
it doesn't seem like the movie's that bad, right?
No.
I liked it a lot more than Vaughn's last movie, The Kingsman, which I actively disliked. I do have some positive things to say about this one.
Yeah, I probably like this even more than the Golden Circle.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't remember that movie. I'd have to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah. Do you recall at all what didn't work for you in that one, or
I just remember there being way too much Elton John at the end. And I think that threw me off.
The Elton John stuff is stupid.
Yeah.
And he looks ridiculous.
Well, he's Elton John, right? Like, there's a reason why have him as a quick cameo, maybe. But if you're trying to put him in your movie, I get what he was doing. But yeah, let's not review that movie. All right, I wanted to ask you. Okay,
Sure.
the action scenes in the second half of the movie, did they work for you at all? Because I got nothing out of them.
I really disliked the figure skating.
Yes, I hated that so much. I was like, I don't know why I hate this because it's fun and silly,
Yeah, like
but it's so stupid. I just cannot get it.
going for fun, silly, campy, but like I don't know what I was looking for the execution
No,
of that. But not that.
I mean it, and I think it was like it seems so convoluted, the setup where it's like, oh, somehow there's oil all over the floor, and we better not shoot our guns because we can set crude oil on fire. And then, oh, I'm just gonna stick knives on my shoes and start skating. And I get that it was supposed to be ridiculous, but I was just like, this is not fun ridiculous. This is stupid. And then at the end, she just shoots them all anyway.
Yeah, she just shoots them all anyways.
I totally don't understand what you're trying to do in this scene.
And
And poor Sam Rockwell's just sat there with his thumb up his ass, just like googly eyeing at her, which I'm getting she's supposed to be the hero by that point, but I'm like, can we just have Sam Rockwell do more stuff? He's like the best thing in this movie.
well, what should have been the best scene in the movie is when they come out of the armory They're throwing that smoke
Yes,
around.
that should have been. And I was like, that
They're kicking ass. Like,
that does look crazy. That does look great. If you'd show me like a 3-second clip of that, I'd be like, oh, that's going to be amazing in the movie.
yeah.
But it wasn't. I was bored.
Well, but even like the color palette,
Yeah.
that's like was still just a little off about what I feel like it should have been. Like it should have really been popping. And,
Yeah, I know what you're
like
saying.
being a feast for the eyes, and it wasn't quite what I wanted. And I compared that to the fight scene towards the end of Kick-Ass, you know, where Hit Girl, is that the name?
Yeah.
Where she's in that penthouse and she's just like gutting everybody.
Yeah.
And it's just so like dynamic.
Yeah.
And that's what that really should have been. And maybe like the lack of
You see some guts flying around.
yeah, like in like maybe it should have got a little nasty there. Like
I
maybe
think-
that would have been a
You
better
know what? I
movie.
think it needed that to offset because they were going for like goofy, like there was so many goofy love, like they're just staring at each other's eyes and like winking at each other.
But then yeah, like have like
But it's
some
like
brains on the wall, right?
Like you need something to go the total other way to juxtapose that, because otherwise it was just like two goofy idiots spinning around, shooting, and it's like it's just this. Oh man, I really did not like it, and I'm like I should be enjoying this. This is the big action scene with the colors flying everywhere and all this cool stuff, but I just couldn't. I couldn't. Wasn't having it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the end, the very end on the boat with the Winter Soldier and the freaking reveal of their partner who wasn't dead.
Yeah.
Like I get that that's
Ariana
all like
DeBose, right?
yeah,
we
like
discovered her
she got nothing to do with
yeah,
the movie.
like she was like fourth build or maybe fifth build, and
she had,
she's
like,
in two
I think
scenes.
she had 3 lines.
Yeah. I'd be a little disappointed if I was her. Like they were keeping that close to the chest,
Yeah.
which you kind of guessed that was going to be the characters. That was the only one who was off the board.
Well, I
for a
mean,
while.
John Cena as well who didn't have anything to do. Which I mean,
Yeah,
I guess his character wasn't really in the movie, but
I thought it would be going to like that, you know, the B team
right,
more, like in showing the fantasy version of it.
right. You
I
know
thought there'd be more switching.
You
back
know what
and
I
forth
thought
with
would
that?
have been amazing right at the end? I thought this would if they'd done this, I would have said respect. To the very end when they're kissing and Sam Rockwell blows up the boat, and then it cuts to John Cena and
Henry Cavill.
I was like, wouldn't it be great if
If
it
they
had them
started-
side kissing?
I would love that.
I would have been so on board with that. It's like, oh, and they
Because-
finally gave in to their urges.
Well, because basically, like that's what, you know, in the Argylle in the book, like would those characters not be written as a gay romance?
Right, they seem that way. It's like just
No.
go for it. Why not?
I'm totally with, and like you have to think both Cavill and Cena would be down to do that.
Definitely.
Like
definitely.
like those guys are like both like very chill.
It was
cool
just very
guys. Like,
weird.
They would totally do
because
that.
they did the cut from them kissing to just them both sat next to each other, sort of awkwardly, and I was like, they're gonna kiss now, right? That would be perfect. And then nope, they're just gonna stand. They're just gonna stand there.
So then that would have bumped the movie up a half a star for you.
I would have at least had a bit of respect for him going that.
Yeah.
Going
Well,
that
you know,
way,
it's kind of a coward move that they didn't go for that,
Yeah.
because that was on my mind too.
right? It's like these two characters who in the book are based on these two characters who are in love and are not right now kissing, and we're going to show those characters in a different light now that we've been doing the whole movie.
Yeah.
But no, they're not going to be kissing. They're just going to be buds.
No, totally.
It would have just like, and they were like the most butch masculine men in the whole movie. And it's like
Yeah.
for them to just start kissing, it would have been amazing.
That would have been iconic.
Yeah.
Too. Like that honestly probably would have sold like $50 million worth of tickets right there. So you hear like,
something to talk about.
Henry Cavill and John Cena make out at the end.
Maybe they wanted to, and they did, and they said, "No, we're not doing that." But like you say, I feel like they would have been up for it.
I think that if that was in the script, then they would have done it for sure. So the mid-credit scene
Oh, I do. I
is set
have
up
no
for
idea.
more like
If
going
you've seen The King's Man, did that have any tie-in at all? Because I was completely lost with what was going on there.
No. So what
Like,
what I
like-
think that mid-credit scene is doing is saying like, all right, now we're gonna have another Argylle movie, and it's gonna be like book one,
Yes, that's kind of what it was saying, right?
and it was called the King's Man, but it had nothing to do, as far as I could tell, with
the
Kingsman.
maybe that was just like that's the name of the pub, just for a gag.
But then remember the thing I was saying before about how
shared universe.
Vaughn is wanting to share the universe. So maybe at some point,
I don't know. I feel like
that's not.
I don't know what he was
not
trying. I don't know what he was trying to do because they're not going to make that movie. So maybe it was just a joke, like a joke trailer for a movie that's never going to get made.
No, I think he was fully intent because he said he wanted Argylle to be a trilogy.
Did he?
It's not. Yeah, it's not happening.
Nope, chance.
Now the budget's reported at 200 million, which is not 100% true because 200 million is how much Apple bought the rights to the movie.
I see what you're saying. So cost that much to make. That's just how much they paid.
All three Kingsman movies came in at a budget of around 100 million, and I assume this one is probably around there.
They can't have spent.
There's no way that movie cost 200 million bucks.
Said that about Killers of the Flower Moon, though. maybe they saw those actors. They crammed. Yeah, but got paid out real well.
Well, the thing with Killers, to go on a side tangent for a second, is Leo got paid 50 million for that movie.
Well, maybe they paid John Cena like 50 mil.
I guess so.
Yeah, no, I didn't get that. What would you think about when Henry Cavill popped up at the end at the signing? Was that just a gag?
I guess that
I didn't understand.
I have to think that it is in some way related to the mid-credit scene.
Yeah, because I was like, okay, so because he said something along the lines of like, "You'll want to talk to me. You know who I am, right?" And it's like, well, why would she know who you are?
So so it gets more into like the mind-bendy stuff, like how much of the books are based off of her experience, and maybe some of it she stole from his experience.
Maybe he's someone she knew from her past life.
Yeah. So we'll never find out because they're not going to make more of these.
Yeah, there's
I guarantee it.
Too much going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sad. Not what I was hoping for.
Not what I was hoping for either, but I had fun.
Yeah, I mean, I had fun. And the first hour of the movie is brilliant. Those fight scenes with Sam Rockwell, like you say, schlubby Sam Rockwell before he shaves, or before he gets the haircut.
She should have kept the long red hair.
Yeah.
I think. Okay. Yeah. Well, we're at the end of our journey here. Yeah. Is there anything we want to? So, next episode, we're going to be doing something a bit different.
Yeah, a little bit different, right?
We're covering The Shining.
Yeah, it's not a new movie.
And
not remade it.
That's something that we're looking to do probably a handful of times going forward, that when there's a local art house that's playing a classic movie that we both like, we want to check it out, and then helps us bank some episodes, gives us a little bit of flexibility to still keep churning these out every 2 weeks.
Especially if the stuff that's out of the movies is pretty poor showing.
I know, that's what we should have done in January.
Yeah, after a couple of episodes of like, I guess we'll see that movie.
Yeah.
Why don't we do something people like The Shining?
Yeah. So we've already recorded that episode. That should come out in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So keep a lookout on the feeds for that. A lot of good discussion in that one. Obviously a classic movie, so maybe you can find somewhere it's showing and drive up there to see it.
That's true. Yeah. I'm sure it's playing somewhere near you.
Yeah, just drive to your friend's house and listen to the podcast on the way, and you guys can watch it there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I guess that's it then, right, for this week?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
reach out to us, guys.
Yep.
As always, we'd love to hear from your feedback. Love to hear your feedback on if you want to hear Shining or you want us to stick to new movies.
That's true.
I mean, we are supposed to be first look, but we've definitely seen The Shining more.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know. You want to hear more classic movies, or you want us to stick to the new stuff?
All right.
Right. Yeah. I guess. Did we plug the email? I always forget to plug the email.
firstlookfinalwordpod@gmail.com, and then we're on all the socials. We're on Letterboxd now.
Mm-hmm.
All that great stuff.
Yeah. Check us out on Reddit and tell us your favorite spy movie.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, I guess that's it for today, Trevor.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. I hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Take care.
Until then, that's the final word.